Bienvenidos a la Midwest Flyways podcast. I am your host, Cal Ness. A la derecho, we have Joey Vassallo.
I'm in front of you.
Kind of, yeah. But to my right.
In front of me.
Yeah, what's to my left again?
Closet
Izquierda.
boy. A la izquierda.
izquierda.
Yeah, to the left
Right?
is
Yeah.
a la izquierda.
And to my a la izquierda is Closet Boy Carter. Carter, what's up, dude?
Not too much.
You know what you haven't done in a while, dude? You haven't played the intro music.
And guys, if you want to get this as your ringtone, it's in our link tree.
It is in our link tree.
How cool is that?
And we just had a Turtle Box winner. We gave away a Turtle Box to someone who won the ringtone giveaway. So of all the emails that entered to get the ringtone, someone got randomly selected and won a Turtle Box. So you never know.
Right.
You never know.
You never ever know.
You never know.
Oh, guys. Oh, God. My ass. It's going to burn if we get to 1,000 Apple Podcast reviews.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because we're going to have to give away everything we own.
We're going to have to give away a bunch of First Light stuff, a bunch of Turtle Box stuff, a bunch of ammo. We're going to have to give away possibly a gun if you're not a felon, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know how the gun stuff works.
If you're a felon, don't enter the game.
Don't enter the game. Well, I mean, you could enter, you won't get some of the things.
Some of the things, yeah.
Yeah. There's going to be a federal background check, you know.
Right.
All that stuff. We can't just, give you a gun. It's going to go through an FFL. They're going to check you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
But we got some really cool shit for you guys here. I don't know which camera to look at because we switched sides of the studio.
We did, yeah. And also, let me just say,
Turn off your phone.
I'm getting someone's liking every post
Someone's
I have right
popular.
now. Someone's liking every single post on my page right now.
Nice.
Or our page, I don't know. One of the two. Regardless, guys, this podcast is brought to you by Weatherby. And if you haven't checked out the new Weatherby Sorex, it's an Italian-made gun, hand-painted in the USA. They are beautiful.
Yeah.
And they are a slim, nice profiled gun. Very nice to carry. And so you should go check them out.
And they use the same chokes as the Benelli, so it's a Cryo Plus choke system.
Right.
Really easy to find chokes for that. Pretty slick.
That is slick. So go check out weatherby.com. It's a legacy brand. They've been around forever, and they've started to pour tons more research and money into their shotguns, and you guys are going to love them.
And guess what? I love them.
Yeah.
So if I love them, you will love them. Write that down.
Yeah, write that down. Speaking of loving some things that you can't have anymore.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Some people in Williamson County, Illinois, they lost their beloved truck.
How did they lose their truck, Cal?
Well, they got in trouble for baiting. And I don't know if you guys have seen this news story. Carter, all you do is read the news, right?
Yep, that's it.
So you know about this already.
For sure.
He's our closet Yahoo.
Yeah,
he's Yahoo News in the closet.
He reads local news from every city around the country just all day. He can pretty much tell you what's going on.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Carter, I'll let you take it away then. Why don't you tell us about this topic?
Yeah, so these guys had a truck, and it got taken away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Yeah, so there was a duck club in southern Illinois that was baiting for, I guess it must have been multiple years, and I'm sure they were getting watched because they've got way too much on these guys. But regardless, $50,000 fine for one of the guys, another like $11,000 that has to go into the Lacey Act. I don't know what this was about, like sale of wildlife. I don't know if he was like illegally selling ducks or I have no idea. But regardless, these guys have pleaded guilty, and essentially what they got caught doing was throwing corn out in a field. And this made me kind of just think a little bit. Is it kind of crazy, Joe, that depending on what state you're in, you can bait for other species of animals?
Yeah.
You know, like you can leave a salt lick out in some states. Mm-hmm. You can bait for, I don't know what states you can bait for bears in Minnesota, can't you?
Yep.
Up until a certain point, and then you have to stop baiting?
It's something like that.
Sure.
I mean, we could ask Whiteman how it really goes.
Right.
But
I remember when
it's very
Molnar,
technical.
yeah, I remember like some other buddies we have too that had been hunting bears, and that's a different deal. But I wanted to ask the question, is it that crazy to think that maybe it's not, is it that wrong to throw corn out in a field? Like, government rules and everything aside, right? Like the way the rules have gotten now, I would never in a million years attempt anything that I thought in any way was going to be illegal. You know? I mean, I would never, ever throw corn out in a field or anything like that. But should we really not be allowed to do that? Like, is it that insane to think that, you know what I mean?
Just like compared to other game?
Yeah, I just mean in terms of like other game, you're allowed to leave a salt lick out for a deer. You're allowed to bait for other species of animals. Like, birds are the hardest thing, I think, in some respects to get to actually like pattern and come to where you want them to come to successfully hunt them. You know?
Yeah.
Because they can go anywhere they want. Like a deer, like if a deer is local to an area, he might switch some of his, habits. He might start eating somewhere else, but he's not going to migrate 1,000 miles.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yet we're so strict about guys hunting ducks and baiting and what is a baited field. And I'm not saying that these guys shouldn't be in trouble. Obviously, they admitted, that they admitted that they broke the law. Like they obviously threw corn all over in these fields and then guided hunts on these baited fields.
Yeah.
But I just think it's kind of nuts when you think about how twisted some of the rules are that we're so scrutinized for some of that stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree and I disagree with you. Have you read The Market Gunner?
The Outlaw Gunner or The Market Gunner?
The Market Gunner.
I have not read The Outlaw Gunner.
It was talking about market hunting. I
Outlaw
can hear
Gunner.
Carter.
Outlaw Gunner.
Outlaw Gunner. Have you read the whole book?
No, I've probably read like half of it though.
It was pretty eye-opening to hear how rampant the amount of birds they were killing over bait.
Yeah, that is true.
It was a lot. They said the Chesapeake Bay was yellow, which is insane. And they'd put out like floating rafts of plywood with corn on it.
Yeah.
And you just see canvasbacks all over it and around it and diving down to get the corn that got spilled off of the plywood and shit. So, like, I think they see that or they're trying to learn from their mistakes because we almost made them extinct. We almost pushed them out of oblivion, essentially. We almost wiped them out. But I think it's a pretty heavy overcorrection. It's
pretty insane, like, some of the gray areas now with, like, what is baiting and what's not.
Yeah. If anything, just make it like a federal deal, so that there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's been stories that I've heard in Rochester, dude, that just chaps my ass.
Of the baited fields and stuff.
Yeah, of the baited fields and like the Sheelander story that he told.
Right.
Where there's like a little pile of corn from like the loader, obviously, and they're hunting nowhere near it. It's just like, dude, come on. But the one that really made me realize like there's a problem is the one in Rochester where they're hunting standing corn and up to a grass field. They have all their goose decoys in the grass field. And this is a story told me from a friend that was on the hunt. Right. And he's like, a DNR officer comes out there and he's checking to see if we're baiting. And he comes and checks our guns like in the standing corn. And there were like 2 corn cobs that fell off. Like they weren't shucked. They weren't picked. Nothing. And he took everybody's guns away immediately because of baiting. Like if you're chucking corn cobs and you're like destroying the corn and putting it in your decoys, sure. I could see how you could think that someone's trying to bait that field. From one corn cob? No. From a dropped corn cob that's not ready to be harvested, that's not opened, it's not shucked, like nothing, and you're just going out there to abuse your power, like instantly took 5 people's guns.
That's
insane. Insane, dude. Like I've
never heard that story.
There's no intent to bait.
Right.
And that guy got fired.
Right.
Because they took it to court. Obviously, and they won. But it's just like, dude, that's not baiting. Yep. The people in Missouri and Kansas and like whoever else that are like letting crop go to waste because they're not harvesting it and flooding it But even then, say you're walking in between the rows and you bump a corn cob off, or a duck gets sloppy, it's like destroying the corn, and then you're hunting in it. Game warden comes, says you're baiting.
Well, like Graham was talking about too, like when the water floods, like birds are eating corn off of like halfway up the corn stalks.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean, he was talking about seeing wood ducks eating corn off of like...
That was Joe.
Was it Joe?
That was Joe, where the wood duck was standing on the corn stalk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going sideways.
That's Joe, my bad.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, like what's that? You know? And then corn drops off of that, corn cobs fall down. I mean, what is that? That's baiting now? I mean, that's...
I don't know. I feel like so many of our laws need to be rewritten. It's where there's no gray area. For better or for worse.
Yeah. Just at least have it be obvious.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that even if they rewrite some of those laws to make them more obvious, then what would they write to make it so you couldn't, you know what I mean? If they were like, there can be no visible corn laying on the ground in a field, well, then you can literally not hunt any of the fields. And then, so then if they say you can have up to this much corn in a field, then people are going to put corn out there.
Right.
So it's just, I get that it's kind of hard to figure out.
Well, then there's certain parts of the country that I've hunted where they just have a really bad machine and it spits corn out. Mm-hmm. Like it's not doing a very good job, but it's a natural farming practice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whereas if a windstorm comes through, like in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where it leveled, it was like 170 mile an hour winds that just leveled thousands of acres of corn. Everybody had a really bad hunt that year because they were all going to those fields. They couldn't harvest it. They just let it be, collected the insurance.
Right.
It's an unnatural farming practice. And so, like, you can't hunt that field because they're just eating the corn right off the ground.
Well, and that's the shitty thing, too. If you have, like, one farm that has, like, a bad crop year or something, and they till under a bunch of corn.
Right.
Or
it's baited.
It's baited.
It's an unnatural farming practice.
Yeah, exactly.
But how is tilling an unnatural farming practice?
That's right. That's what I don't know. It's hard to figure that out. But you can't hunt that field.
No.
But birds are going to go to that field all year. Mm-hmm. They're going to go there all year. And if you have fields around it that usually you can hunt traffic or end up being a good field once or twice a year, those are no longer good fields.
Right.
You can't hunt anywhere else because the birds are just going to go there. They're protected. No one's going to touch them. And they've got corn to eat for, a month.
Right. And my brain immediately goes to, okay, get permission on that field anyway and set it up so where the birds can't eat out of that field. So they have to go somewhere else.
Right.
But someone could argue that you're disrupting wildlife.
And that's what's scary because that's where my head goes. It's like, well, then I'll just put a shitload of orange cones or scarecrows or something out in this field.
Well, how is that different than someone going to a roost where all the birds are? You know, like let's just say you and I are hunting. All these birds are going to a pond that we can't hunt. So we tell someone to go drive their boat through that area. They are using that boat to disrupt wildlife, and then we benefit from that. Right. So if they can prove that we go and talk to them and say, hey, go and mess with those birds so they get off of that roost, and then we kill them, you and I could get a ticket.
Right.
Technically.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, is there any winning? I don't think there is.
I don't know.
I don't think there is.
That's what's tough.
And like you and I really, really look at the laws. Just because
we're paranoid.
I'm very paranoid about breaking the law.
Yeah.
Because I love hunting.
And it changes every state you go. So we have to be.
Right.
We have to be.
So
everyone should be, but
I know, but it's just like there's so many laws to keep up with.
It's hard to keep up.
But I feel like it's our job with our platform and just being conservationists and being outdoorsmen to follow the law anyway.
Yeah, we have to. Even though, again, I will agree, some of the laws very hard to figure out. I don't agree with all the laws. We're going to follow every single law. Every time Joey and I go to a new state, if we're driving, flying, whatever, it's always one of or both of our jobs. Yeah, we're talking about it before we get there. Hey, what are the different rules? What are the laws? How far can we be from a house? What do we need for permission? What's legal? What's not legal? How many, What time can you hunt until? What, because every state has their weird things.
Right.
And they all have their weird times, and they all have their different laws about distance and proximity to a home. And, everywhere you go, it changes. All the regulations change. And so if you're going to hunt anywhere that's not your normal home area, obviously look everything up. It's never worth, like what I was going to bring up with this duck hunting club closure, in the process of, taking these guys in, it says at the end of the article, they were able to seize a Chevy 2500 and a UTV, which I will tell you this too. Like that is an overreach of power. Like they can, if you're doing something illegal, you should be obviously charged for doing that. You should be in trouble for that. But them just like taking trucks and your stuff, like a UTV,
because they were associated.
A trailer. I mean, that's just. Yeah, because they were associated. Well, what about the days you're not, working with your truck, but you still have to drive it? I don't know. If you get in trouble for like other stuff, not hunting, can they take your truck if you go to jail?
No.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to look up on ChatGPT how much money does the Minnesota DNR make off of seizures, right? Is that how you would say it?
Yeah, like personal property seizure. I guess this would be, I don't even know if you'll get the right answer, honestly. It'd be hard to, I don't know if they track that or not specifically.
Participates in civil asset forfeitures, but its revenue isn't reported separately. Here's what we know. Oh my God. Here's a breakdown of statewide asset forfeiture data from the Minnesota State Auditor's reports.
But this is for everything in Minnesota that's been forfeited, not just DNR, right? It's got to be.
The DNR Enforcement Division accounted for 265 completed forfeitures out of 5,094 statewide. And in 2022, they totaled 8.5 million. And then in 2023, statewide, it was 5.3. So if you were to divide 5,094 divided by 265, get that percentage, I don't know if that would be accurate. Probably not.
Well, are you saying the 8.5 million is the total amount that the state took in forfeiture, or is that just what the DNR took in?
No, it was statewide.
Okay.
So 8.5 in 2022.
264 out of 5,000 is not very many.
No, it's not. But it also says DNR specific revenue. DNR seizures are mixed in with statewide totals. No standalone figures published. Once property is forfeited, 70% of proceeds go to the seizing agency, example, the DNR, 20% to prosecutors, and 10% to the state general fund. So if the DNR sees $500,000 in 2022, they'd retain $350,000 directly.
Right.
So I mean, that's a lot of money.
That's a bonus for them, dude.
That's a lot of money.
That's like an easy way for them to take in a few extra things. So if they catch you, this is the whole point. Everyone listening. Do your research, know your rights, know the law, and follow it to a T. Do everything you can to follow it. And it's not because every law they wrote is right and just, because it's not. But it is the best way to not have your truck taken, for sure. You don't want your truck taken. I've heard of them taking dogs.
Yep.
Dogs.
Yeah. Well, like if they have papers and whatever, they can resell the dog.
It's not right.
Yeah,
it's not right.
It's pretty messed up.
But regardless, guys, this podcast is also brought to you by First Lite. And First Lite has an awesome new waterfowl lineup that's out. Joey and I have been testing stuff for a couple years. They keep coming out with newer and better items. And I just want to say my favorite item that I've put on out of the box from First Lite is a newer item. It's called the Navigate hoodie.
You're wearing it.
I'm wearing it right now. It's extremely comfortable. It's got like this nice, soft fleece liner inside of it. And the outside is very lightweight and soft. Quarter zip.
And it's waterproof.
Water resistant?
Well, I was wearing in the pouring rain and I didn't get wet.
Wow.
So
sick.
It's for sure hydrophobic.
Yeah. So go check it out. You're going to love it. I promise. It's my favorite piece.
So just to end the whole duck club thing, the reason why we're harping on it is we we know a lot of people that have gotten in some serious trouble, and we've heard about a lot of people getting in serious trouble. And so just do yourself a favor and look up the laws and follow them. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a new area, especially hunting with people that are from the area, and they say, oh, yeah, it's totally fine to do this here. And I'm like, I'm going to double check it. And so I will call the DNR in that area, and I will ask a CO. And 4 out of 5 times, like what I thought was correct or what someone was telling me was correct, but it saved me a ticket one time by asking the question. I'm like, ooh, thank God I checked. You know? And so inherently, I don't think the DNR is out to get you. You know, I think they're just trying to conserve, you know, the resource. And so I think there's a lot of bad apples out there of like hunters in general that are like poaching. Like obviously there's poachers and there's people that are doing illegal shit. And so they probably just see the worst of the worst most of the time. And so if you go ahead and you do your research and you look ahead of time just to make sure, I think you're going to save yourself a lot of trouble, a lot of looking over your shoulder, because that's not the best feeling in the world. Like, am I doing it legally? I don't know for sure. And you're just like, you know, it's not a good feeling in any part of life. Like it's like driving without, you know, valid tags on your truck and you have a cop following you. It's just like,
what's that like, Joey?
I don't know. I have no idea what that's like. So it's just like, you're better off just to be safe. Even just like ask a question to a CO.
Yeah. I was going to say, unfortunately here, the bad guys that are hunting are giving other hunters a bad name, and the bad COs that are abusing their power give all the other COs a bad name. Mm-hmm. Most COs are good people, in my experience.
Yep.
Most hunters are good people, but the group that makes the most noise, the group that does the most things wrong, usually is the one that sets the trend for what you think about the rest of the group. So,
for sure,
unfortunately, that's the way it is. But like Joey said, if you call, usually, in my experience, anytime I've called the DNR, they're chill, man. They want to help you not break the law.
Yeah.
So,
and then in my experience, there's a lot of like gray areas as well when it comes to like property lines, retrieving birds over someone else's private property that you don't have permission on. That's the one that I've ran into quite a bit. And that one varies state to state. So let's say I kill a bird. I'm right on the property line. Mm-hmm. I kill a bird. It flies over the other guy's property. There are some states that say you cannot retrieve that bird.
Right.
You cannot walk onto someone else's private property. However, a dog can go onto that private property and get the bird. A lot of states will say, yes, you can go onto that private property to retrieve an animal, but you can't have a gun in your hand. And that's a big one, especially if it's crippled. Mm-hmm. You know, like you just instantly think like, oh, it's running away. I'm going to bring my gun. Ticket.
Yep.
Ticket. So it makes a lot of sense to look up the laws, ask the people around there because they probably know. But then also, if you don't know, call a warden.
Yeah, and
call a CO.
I don't even mean to be this guy. It's not that I doubt the people that I'm hunting with, but just double check it yourself.
Yeah. Just double check.
I'm not saying that you should, in front of your buddy, be like, well, I guess we better check. But if your buddy's like, yeah, you can go get that bird, I would just look it up. Just find out. Just find out. Because how many times, too, do they change the law and then people don't know and they don't keep up and, you know, or there's a gray area, like you said, because they're used to hunting on, you know, properties that border each other and it's always their buddy's property they're going on to anyway. You know, so they never have to worry about it. But you just don't know, man. Just look it up for yourself. Figure it out. Call a CO if you have a question. But
anyway. Guys, I also want to talk to you about one of our favorite sponsors on the podcast. They're all our favorites, but OnX has been a supporter since the very beginning.
Day ones.
What's that?
Day ones.
OnX is such an incredible app. I don't know how you are hunting without using OnX. We use it so much, from determining property lines to figuring out routes in the dark to labeling field approaches to
offline GPS
navigation, checking water in an area that you can't go and scout with 2 week
recent imagery.
It's incredible. So Let us save you some money by using our discount code MWF20 for 20% off your elite membership or your state membership. And if you're like most waterfowl hunters, you're at least hunting one other state, you know?
Yeah, let me also say, I really want us to try utilizing OnX Fish this year because it gives you all the depths.
Yeah.
Which has always been something that can get pretty sketchy depending on what body of water you're going to. And I know the depths change a little bit, but even just having like a general idea of what they are if you're running a river or something with a big boat, very nice.
They're probably within 2 to 4 feet.
Yeah, I mean, at least you can see on a map if it says it's 2 feet.
It's going to be a little shallow.
It's shallow.
It's going to be a little shallow.
You should be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we should use that this year. It'd be nice to.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely going to use. I used it last year too. Yeah, it was really nice. I was at a couple of lakes that I've never been on before, and whenever I go to like a friend's cabin or like I was at a golf trip in Lake Vermilion, I always bring a fishing pole in my little tackle box. And so, like, oh yeah, there's a huge smallmouth population here, or there's a huge walleye population. Wow, it's incredible. I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure one of the lakes it said, like a bunch of people said where the fish were. Like they're hitting on drop-offs or they're hitting on, they're dock jumping, whatever.
There's like notes on there or something.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It was pretty cool.
You
like
gotta
what
think some of
the
those
fish
notes are just just putting people in the wrong spot. That's what I'll be doing.
Right.
If I was fishing,
They're right in the middle of the lake.
They're right in the middle.
Right in the middle of the lake, 28 feet.
Yeah.
Every
They're
time.
off this drop off. There's no drop off.
White jig head.
Yeah.
Minnows, leeches.
Hitting them. Throw you off hard.
Right. No, it was pretty nice though, because I'm like, oh wow, there's actually walleye in that lake.
Wow.
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 Oh.
Wow. I really want to see that new movie he's in about golf. Stick, I think it's called.
Oh yeah.
I really want to watch it just to hear the
wow. Dude, you know what's really funny? You were talking about like going somewhere, bringing your rod, and then always bringing your tackle box.
Yeah.
What is it like as you get older? You just bring more shit all the time. Like whenever you bring old guys hunting.
Yeah.
When I'm talking old guys, I'm talking like 60, 65-year-old guys. They always come out with like a duffel bag.
No, it's
like their blind bag is a duffel bag. Like they're going on vacation for 4 days. Mm-hmm. You bring an old guy hunting or fishing with you. He's like, yeah, no, I'll grab my one tackle box then. It's the biggest tackle box you've ever seen.
It's a suitcase.
It's a suitcase
that has multiple tiers.
They've got lunch, dinner, an extra pair of clothes, and every lure you'd ever need in there.
Well, the extra clothes is in case they shit their pants.
Right.
You know, because they're not just pooping their pants; they're pooping up their back, and they always got baby wipes, and dude wipes. Well, yeah, just get the dingleberries off. I've seen it,
dude,
more than once.
Just think it's wild though. Like every time, if I'm ever with a dude that's over 65,
you never know when you need some wipes.
Wait till you see the size of this guy's bag.
Okay. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about like specifically you because you and I hunt together a lot, right? I would say that we are a part of a group. Yeah. Would you say that?
Sure, yeah.
The Midwest Flyways group. I wanted to see what you're thinking of doing this year to help us have more success because I feel like you and I really get into this habit of hitting the same areas and we still try it out, even if there's not a whole lot of birds there or even if it's not favorable, because it's easier and we still want to get out and whatever. And so one of the things that I'm going to do this year is I'm going to get way outside of my comfort zone big time. And what I mean by comfort zone is just like travel farther from home to scout. And the reason why it's been so tough the last 3 years is because of children, right? Mm-hmm. And I talked to my wife about it earlier this year. I'm like, hey, I don't want what happened last year and the year before to happen again. And just for the listeners to understand, I have a 3-year-old daughter and a 1.5-year-old son. And so leaving really early in the morning and coming home really late every single day, especially during hunting season, and then you're gone for 3-4 days at a time and you're working the rest of the time.
It's hard on the family.
It's really hard on the family. And so my wife is stay at home. And so like naturally I have to work as much as I can, but then when it comes to the fall, it's like We got to kill shit.
You want to get out and hunt.
I gotta quench the thirst.
Sure.
I need to hear those.
Mm-hmm.
I have to. I need it. It makes me who I am, Cal.
Right. I understand.
I have to. And so her and I sat down, and I'm like, hey, the hunting has been so bad in our area the last 4 years that it's been really tough. And so I don't want to leave town as much as I had to the last couple of years because the hunting's been so bad. We haven't been able to make any videos in town. Right. And so I'm going to need to scout a lot more, which means that I'm going to need to wake up before the sun comes up. I need to be 45 minutes to an hour away when the sun is coming up. So I'm going to be gone really early in the morning, and then I need to scout at night. And so you and I will have to figure out the times. Okay, you can scout in the morning this day. You can scout in the afternoon this day. I'm not going to do breakfast, waking up the kids, and putting them to bed by myself. And I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, that'd be insane, right?
Does it all the time, though.
Does it all the time, especially during hunting season. And so her and I are going to set up a time, how many days a week that I can scout early in the mornings before I go to work, and then just go to work from there. But then I absolutely have to be home to help for dinner and bedtime and whatever. It's just way tougher with two.
Yeah. You mean you're going to plan a system where you're giving and taking.
Right. But the hard part is doing it more than 30 minutes away from home, and still getting to work on time and getting my shit done at work, and still being a dad and a husband.
Right.
And so that's the biggest thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to scout different areas that I don't already have permission in, because more than likely we're not going to have the birds in the area that have not been really there in the last 5 years. So
yeah,
it's easier to scout, but also just coming home from work and driving by those fields and not seeing anything doesn't work. And it hasn't been working the last 4 years, So I have to do something different. And so I'm really going to pound the pavement and the gravel and look for new birds and new areas and shit.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing. And that's number one, scouting. We preach it all the time. And then when it comes to hunting season, I'm doing the same shit. I got to change it.
I think it's tough because I think the hard part is how far do you have to go before it makes a difference? In my head, a lot of it is migration pattern. These birds are we're not getting as many birds, and they have more opportunities to sit in some neighborhood pond. The more we develop, the more too that you'll see birds.
So are you saying we're fucked either way or what?
I'm not saying we're fucked either way, but I do think depending on time of year, you kind of are a little bit, yeah. Unless you're willing to drive 2 hours, I think if you really want to be putting yourself in a spot where you're gonna find a ton of birds and be fired up about it, you probably got to be 2 hours from where we are right now. That's the hard part. It's I don't know that you scouting around here and then driving 45 minutes away. I mean, I know what's 45 minutes away, in terms of just what cities you could be in.
Well, think about it.
There are some more birds.
Think about it
in some of these areas.
When was the last time you scouted something in the morning an hour away?
I don't know, probably 2 or 3 years ago.
Been a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that would lead a lot more to our success
maybe
next year.
Yeah, maybe. The hard part too is just and I'm just playing devil's advocate here. The other thing that's tough about it is if you drive an hour away and you're an hour away and there's no birds, when are you going back there?
I don't know.
And have you just wasted, some time? Because
it's just an extra hour.
The thing that's hard is even in our area when it's bad, there are still some people that are having a good hunt. So there's some birds. And I think the other thing that I'm just, again, playing the devil's advocate here, it's you drive 45 minutes away, you don't know anybody, you don't have the same connections, so it is harder to get permission if you don't find birds there. I'm not saying you can't.
Right.
I'm just saying it sucks to drive 45 minutes and realize you're not far enough anyway.
Sure. Well, perfect example, right? Last goose opener, September 1st or 2nd, 3rd last year. I had this great hunt planned out in Wisconsin, and then I got booted last second right? They had too many people. I'm like, fuck. You know, this sucks. So then the day before, I go out and scout and found a bunch of shit. And I mean a bunch of shit. And I was way far away from my house. I was an hour and 10 minutes from my house. Found so many birds. But what everybody told me is someone already has permission on it. They asked me yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. These birds have been in here for a week. Some guy, you know, whatever. You can come hunt it the next day. Like, they don't have year-long permission there.
Sure.
And so it's like, okay, that's not that far. An hour is not that far to drive for a hunt.
No.
It's not. And it's a cool area. Like, you and I are definitely going to hunt there for opener this year. It's a dope spot for goose opener.
Yeah.
So pumped about it. I met a lot of people trying to get permission, left notes at people's doors when they weren't home. They all called me back, you know, like salt to the earth. Cool spots, too. Like, super cool. Hide under a tree, little creek running through it, all grass, cattle all over the place. Super cool. And so, like, an hour isn't that crazy, but it's not a spot that I would have thought to have hunted.
Sure.
It's only because I was picking up milk in that area, and I'm like, I bet you she'll let me hunt. No, the person who farms that land gives out hunting permission, and he has someone hunting there all year. They didn't even hunt opener.
Right.
I'm like, come on, bro, that sucks, you know? But now I'm in with him. He's going to let me hunt it this year, which is dope.
Yeah.
But you don't know unless you don't try.
No, I agree with you. Like, we definitely, doesn't hurt to scout new areas. I think what I want to do differently this year is, say we've scouted some new areas, say we just legitimately just don't have a lot of birds, you know, haven't found much. Instead of going to the same spot that we would, some of the same spots that we would go to is just like a let's go out and have fun and see. I think what I kind of want to do this year is like pick some dart on the map type stuff. You know, whether it's like something we like semi-scouted previously, you know, like, you know, it's there. You know that at times there are some birds there, but you just don't know what's there right now. It's almost like, well, if we're going to just go somewhere where we know there's not really birds, we might as well just go somewhere where we don't know if there's birds. So I think there's some random spots that I'd like to try and get out and see. And I also really want to get, I know I've talked about it before, but I want to get like a small one-man boat set up so we can do some more like random walk-in or like backwater type stuff where other people just don't really want to go or deal with it. But those are probably like, that's probably the thing I'm more like that I'm excited about this year. I just kind of want to say, well, we don't have anything. Let's just try this spot.
Right.
So I've been like just looking over maps and seeing like what public lakes have, you know, islands or certain structure that I think would give us an opportunity to hunt, or like places we could actually go that are within like a half an hour, 45 minutes of the house.
Yeah.
And just being able to try some new spots.
I really want to hurt the geese this early season.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really want to boink them pretty good, you know.
Sure.
Just have like 4 unbelievable early season goose hunts this year, you know.
That'd be nice.
Just really hurt them. Not like migrator days. I'm talking like there's a feed, there's 200 birds in it. We go in there with 6 guys and shoot 30 geese. You know? Yeah. Just really put a hurting on them.
Sure.
That's what I want to do.
I'm not that excited about goose hunting this year.
I don't know.
Now.
I'm
just like,
I see him on the golf course and I'm like, oh, you bitch.
I have seen him on the golf
course.
Oh,
you bitch. Yeah, I just look at him. Oh, I'm going to hurt you come September. I'm going to hurt you.
You're mad at him already?
Yeah. No, I saw a video by Mallard Estates Outfitters in Canada. It came out like 7 days ago now. Pretty fire. Yeah. Pretty good video. And I'm surprised.
It's like YouTube or what?
Yeah, it was on YouTube. It was like they released it 7 days ago. It had like 4,500 views on it. I'm
nice.
like, oh, should we release one of the videos that we have done right now? Of like,
oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
There's a couple other videos that were on there.
Yeah.
Not from that person, but it like suggested videos, and they all had a decent amount of views for being out less than a week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, should we possibly release a Canada video right now, or I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
I see what you're saying.
Kind of like it.
Interesting.
Kind of like it. I think a lot more people are fired up in June than like years prior.
Huh. Yeah, I know. Yeah, as
because there wasn't a whole lot
July
of subscribers on the videos, like to the channel. Like,
Sure.
I don't know how many Mallard Estates. They had a pretty good production value on their video, so I'm guessing they had over like 10,000 subs. But Old Hat Outdoors came out with a video. It was like a season-long progression. It was like an hour and a half, and that had like 5,000 views on it in less than a week. I'm like, oh.
Mallard Estates has 1,500 subscribers.
1,500. So like they have 1,500 subscribers, and they put out a video 7 days ago. Now the video was lit. It was a good video.
Nice.
They hunted like this skinny little creek, and they had hundreds of ducks coming into that thing. Where it's like, I was expecting to see the comments being like, "Why are you shooting into groups like that?" Because there was like hundreds coming in there, and they're like killing like eight ducks out of it
in a creek.
Yeah.
Like
you couldn't jump across it, but it was probably like 20 feet wide.
Okay.
It was pretty dope. And they're
That's
just standing
sick.
next to trees, and
That sounds so dope.
it was pretty cool.
I'm gonna watch that video.
It got me
tonight.
fired up.
Yeah.
It got me fired up. And the dude, like one of their sponsors is Bud Light
Yeah.
or Bush Light. And so he's just like pimping Bush Light so hard in the beginning. You know, he trips with 2 cases running up the stairs. It was pretty funny.
That's dope.
I liked it. It made me laugh. Made me get a little fired up for season. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's only June.
Yeah.
Calm down, Joseph.
I'm watching that video for sure tonight.
Mm-hmm. It got me fired up. And I'm like, I should talk to Cal, see if we should release a Canada video in June or July or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe like right before Game Fair.
Yeah. Like early August.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Be good.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, let's get into Say What. Say What is brought to you by Sound Gear. And if you guys are looking for a better hearing protection option this year, you guys should check them out. It is for sure the best hearing protection that you can get for duck hunting. And really, you can use it for anything else you want to use it for, too. But go check out Sound Gear. Use our discount code FLYWAYS for 20% off your custom hearing protection. And you can use MWF125 for $125 off Instant Fits, too.
For sure.
So go check it out.
Should we get Gavin involved in the Say What real quick since he just walked in?
All right, guys. So Gavin's going to join us. Say hello, Gavin.
Hi, guys.
Hi. Okay. All right. Carter, have you whipped up some diabolical shit for us?
Absolutely.
Fucking
Can't wait.
Christ.
All right. Here we go.
All right. So for season 2, it is 11 correct Joey, 12 correct Cal out of 20.
Nice.
Cal is in the lead.
Hold on. Where did I end up on season 1? I know we ended the season.
You were 10 of 17 season 1.
It's not too bad.
It's not bad.
What was I the other day? 7 for 7?
Yeah.
So at the moment, you have 11, you have 12, and I have 7 on the season?
Yeah.
On season 2.
Hasn't Gavin done more than one of these even, Carter?
Nope,
not
just
for
the one.
season 2.
Not since season 2.
So
you were
he's-
gone. You
so
were
he-
gone.
Okay, so he's 7 of 7.
Yeah, I killed it.
He did kill it.
You're
It was-
11 of 20.
Joey
I'm
was
12 of 20.
mad.
I was
Because he
upset.
kept
Didn't
adding
you get
a
like
question.
6 of 7?
5 of 7.
Yep.
5.
I got 6
Was
of
it
7.
6? That was 5.
We didn't
He
count
kept
it
adding,
towards our scores.
He kept adding a question, trying to get me to like fumble. Didn't happen.
Yeah, we added 2 questions trying to get him to get one wrong, and he didn't.
Nice.
All right,
All right,
guys.
let's go.
All right, let's do it.
All right. First one here. Ooh. Oof.
So
Big oof guy.
do you have them or?
Yeah.
What do you, why do you like get it going? Let's go.
In 2003, a hunter in Louisiana shot a green-winged teal that had a tiny centuries-old Spanish coin lodged in its stomach.
I'm going to go with true.
Wow.
False.
Like it was 100 years old, Carter?
Why would you?
Centuries old.
Why would
So
you
I would
gut it?
assume.
Oh, multiple hundreds.
Why would you gut the bird?
They probably breasted it out, bro.
But why would you find that in the stomach?
No, Louisiana, dude. They're making gumbo. They use as much of the bird as possible.
Hillbillies.
I mean, that's a really good point.
I'm going to
Why would
say
you gut it? You're gonna hate it now if you get it wrong.
I'm going to say
'cause
true.
Yikes. Gavin was on it. It was false. I made
Let's
that up.
go.
Oh, man.
Let's go.
It's pretty fire. That was really good reasoning.
Yeah.
I did not think of
I know.
that. Damn it.
It was the only thing that clicked in my head. I was
Honestly-
like, why would you gut it?
After you said that, part of me wanted to just say false, but I was like,
You didn't
if
want to
this
make
is
me
false,
feel left out.
if I just thought if it was false, then it'd be really funny that we started with you getting that one wrong.
I will admit
And
though, if that
everyone
was
was saying
true,
that.
that'd have been fucking wild.
I don't
Yeah.
feel like that would be that crazy, though. They're sifting through the silt of like a marsh or whatever, and they just
Yeah, I guess
Pick
that's
up a
fair.
coin.
That's kind of what I
fair.
thought. Is they just ate a coin.
Like
and,
if you shoot a shoveler and you find like a $100 gold coin and it's still
shit, if you
Right.
found a centuries old Spanish coin, it'd be worth a lot more than $100. Just gonna say that.
Well, I don't
I don't
know.
know.
If you go to the pawn shop in Vegas, they're like, is it all right if I call someone in here to just
I can give you
bring
60
down the
bucks.
price? There's no way they're
Oh.
not getting a kickback for that, by the way.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, maybe at like the best kind of auction you could get that. I'm like, come on, bro. I love it so much when they walk away and they're like, nah, I can get more for it.
Yeah.
Just go to eBay and you can get way more.
And then they contact like the network and they're like, I sold it for $30,000 more than what he wanted to give it for me.
I
You
would.
know,
I would.
that
roast
type
them.
of shit. I would roast them. Be like, ha ha.
They'll never put that on TV, but yeah.
No, but
They
I
have.
would know.
They do sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
Yep.
Oh,
Really?
oh.
I've never really watched it. All right, number 2. Let's go.
Number 2, buffleheads nest almost exclusively in tree cavities.
False. A lot of silence in this room.
I'm gonna say it's false.
I don't know.
That's the point.
Yeah,
Should I
I
be-
didn't know either. If that helps you.
Should I be the one naysayer?
You could be. I think it's only wood ducks and hooded McGanzers that do it. I don't think buffalo hens.
No, golden eyes are found in wood duck boxes all the time.
Yeah, wood duck boxes, but not in trees.
It's essentially a tree.
you
though.
wouldn't
They
look
they
for 'em
view
in
it
a
as like
tree.
a tree. I'm gonna go with true.
It is true.
Wow.
I'm fucked.
Damn.
Slick.
Wood
Cal,
ducks-
you fucked this up.
Wood ducks, buffleheads,
Not
and
good.
golden eyes are cavity nesters.
Damn, look
Sick.
at Joe.
Wow.
Look at Joe.
Damn.
You're 0 for 2 over there.
Yeah.
Big dog.
What's
bad.
what's really cool is Matt Dahlstrom has a bunch of wood duck boxes on a property or at his cabin or something. He put a bunch up, and so he went through and stuck his phone in each one. He's like, wood duck, hooded merganser, golden eye, golden eye, golden eye. I'm like, damn, that's a lot of golden eyes in your wood
Yeah.
duck boxes. I think it was up north.
Damn,
He's
that's
got
crazy.
some place up by like Detroit Lakes, I think.
No,
Damn.
Pretty
All right,
cool.
I'm in big trouble.
Next one, ducks and geese can't get frostbite.
what is frostbite though?
Like the dying of tissue.
I'm gonna say
from
true.
Frost.
The dying of tissue.
I would think so. I know their bills freeze shut because you'll watch mallards in the winter like put their bill underneath their wing to like melt.
Can you say it again? I just want to get the verbiage right.
Ducks and geese cannot get frostbite.
He's like overanalyzing it.
Always. Can I get frost?
Cannot get frostbite. I'm gonna say true. Maybe this is a human only thing
Dun-dun-dun.
because I don't know.
No,
if
but
damn-
they can die from being too cold.
Yeah, but that's not frostbite.
It's not
That's just
frostbite,
death.
though.
I know, but
Don't
That's
stop helping him analyze it down. Just let him answer.
I don't think they can get frostbite.
So you're going true.
Yes.
All of you went true.
Yes.
It is false. They can, especially on their feet and bill, although they are well adapted.
Fuck.
Damn.
Guys. Cal, you're over 3. Get your shit together.
That's a tough look.
That's so tough.
I'm only one
because
for
they
3.
can die of cold. I don't know.
You know what? Probably should have gave it away. If you leave them out in the freezer too long, it gets freezer burnt.
No,
Yeah,
but that's
but
not.
they're dead though.
Freezer
But,
burns
but it's
different.
still freezer burnt tissue.
You mean that
So
they're
anything,
like
anything that can get
their
freezer burnt.
foot can get
Yeah,
can
you
get
got a good-
frostbite to where it falls
Got a good
off.
point there.
Yeah,
Carter?
like anything that gets freezer burnt can get frostbite.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with my own train of thought from here on out.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop analyzing with guys. It's making me tripped up. Actually, just hearing you guys go back and forth.
Okay, I'm
I
gonna
think
give
it adds to the say what though.
It absolutely adds to the same.
If we're just like true, you're
No,
wrong.
yeah,
Okay,
we have
next
to.
one.
I'll
we
give
have to-
I'll give a layup for Cal here.
Don't say that. Take it back.
No.
Nope.
Does it have something to do with stout waiters or what? Why is it a layup?
Wow.
You're a dick.
No, it's just an easier one. Punt gunning is still legal in the UK.
Punt gunning is still legal.
False.
It's still legal.
Still legal.
False.
False.
It's true. Ramsey Russell just went and did it.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I gotta go. Actually, I gotta head out.
You gotta head out.
All right, I'm gonna head out. What's that meme? SpongeBob.
Yeah, I'm out.
Get up and leave.
I'm one.
You
for
can
4.
still punt gun hunt in the UK.
I think so.
What do you mean you fucking think so?
I'm double checking.
God damn
Oh
it,
my
Carter.
God.
I'm double
Here
checking.
we go.
Yes, Ramsey Russell just did it.
Fucking Carter.
Where was he?
Trying to find it.
I
I
don't feel like it's
watched
the
a whole thing
UK.
about it.
They're so strict on their bird laws.
They're so strict on firearms, too.
But you can still hunt with a punt gun.
Yeah, he just did it. I'm trying to find where it was though. I'm about 99% sure it was legal. Yep. It still has persisted in the UK. He just posted it on his website.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oops.
That's
That
actually
was a
so
layup?
crazy.
Yeah, that was a layup.
Why was that a layup?
I thought you would have seen him post it.
You are on social media a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not on social
You
media.
are though.
You are.
That's actually why we're all here today.
Nice. This
Cal, we love you.
Yeah.
But you're spending too much time on social media.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll check myself into social media rehab after this.
Good.
It's probably wise.
All right, so I'm 0 for 4.
Yeah.
Joey's 1 for 4. And Gavin's 1 for 4.
Yikes.
It's a tough one.
Nice work.
You guys are
It's not a good
struggling.
look. It's not a good
A
look.
lot of talk from a couple of guys. 1 for 4.
More than 0.
Cal, you're 0 for 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, shut the fuck up over there.
This could change quick.
The lightest goose is a cackler, which can weigh as little as 3 pounds.
That's so tough for me.
Egyptian goose. Where's
I
that
know.
way?
I know.
I think 2.4. I'm going to say false.
I know it's so tough.
Go with my
The
gut.
first thing that I thought of was the Egyptian goose. I'm going to go with false.
I'm going to say true.
It is true.
Is it a Richardson?
Just cackler. It was Ducks Unlimited. Egyptian goose averages 3.3 to 5. So just a little bigger, but not the smallest.
We tried.
We did try. We
We
had the
tried.
same thought.
That was literally the first thing that came in my mind.
same.
Every time I've golfed in Arizona, Cal, Egyptian geese are everywhere.
Telepathy.
And they're so little.
All I could think about, though, was that day we were with Isaac Hills and we shot that cackler.
Yeah.
Those 2 cacklers that were like the size of the mallard, or the gadwalls
Maybe
we
the
shot
size
that
of a
day.
mallard. We shot mallards that day that were bigger.
He
There's
is
a-
accurate. We have a photo of. I have a photo of that.
I have a picture of a cackler that's smaller than a mallard.
Yeah,
on
was,
my phone.
That was also the day after your cramping.
That's right.
experience, your
That was
cramps.
right after the cramping
Your
incident.
cramps. I have a
Yeah, it
photo of
was.
you. I have a video of you stretching in the morning trying to get the cramps to go. out of
Do
your
you?
leg. Yeah, I have a full video of you like
That's so
doing
good.
yoga stretches
That's
off this
awesome.
fucking tailgate.
That's awesome.
That's so good.
That's so good.
I miss
That
those
story
days.
literally will
Miss those
live
days
on.
of zero responsibility. I felt like I had zero responsibility back then.
You
Compared to
probably
now,
of all
you
of us,
did,
all
yeah.
of us probably should have had the most responsibility because you were the only self-employed one whose income only relied on his own work.
Yeah, but he didn't need a lot of money.
It's true.
It is true.
I didn't need
All
a
he
lot of
needed was
money.
some time to go hunting and some bread and bologna.
Gas money.
You know what? There was a time where I didn't
Cal-
even see you eat, bro.
Look at me and tell me that I look like a bologna guy.
Well, you are.
No.
You don't
are-
like bologna?
You are
No.
Italian.
What is bologna, Cal?
Well, Italians love
What is bologna?
processed meats. By
Tell
the
me
way.
what it is.
Processed meat.
It's a processed meat. It's a mixture of pork, chicken, and beef.
Hooves, tails.
Whatever they want,
no,
dude. Processed
that's
down.
Vienna sausages.
No.
It's not bologna.
Bologna can come from any part of an animal.
That is
Of
Yeah,
20
I don't
different
think
animals.
there's a big difference in the production of bologna and Vienna sausages. I just want to throw that out there. You ever had some bar-ass bologna?
Have you ever bit into a piece of bologna and go, what was that really hard thing?
No,
No.
I've never had that.
I have.
You're
Let me
eating
tell
weird-
you, it's
some
not
weird
good.
bologna.
Big bologna guy over here.
Sounds like some capicola you're eating, dude.
Do not talk shit about capicola.
You like capicola.
Can we
but
get
you
another
don't like
question,
bologna?
please?
Correct.
yeah.
basically
Would you prefer
bologna.
a story or a fact?
Capicola is thin sliced bologna.
Let's do a fact, Carter.
Okay. Swans can break a man's arm with the force of their wings.
True.
True.
Swans can break a man's arm.
With the force of their wings.
What do you mean by that?
What do you think
They
I
go
mean?
like this.
They can
and hit
flap
ya.
you and they hit you in the arm and they can break your arm.
Yeah. You
I'll
overthinking
say
it,
true.
bud?
It is false. They have hollow bones in their wings, and it's not strong enough to break an arm.
I quit.
I don't know if I believe that. Have you ever been hit by a goose, Carter?
Yeah.
They have hollow wings.
Yeah.
They have hollow bones.
Did they break your arm?
They can bruise it pretty good.
I say I've had some pretty good.
Here's the
bruising.
hard part about this fact. You just don't know. I mean, you take a small, frail man You put them out there.
You take
and you let a big,
Carter.
strong swan. Yeah.
Carter's little wrists.
You take Carter.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially with his carpal tunnel and his natural feminine physique.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get your line of, but nobody has ever had their arm broken by a swan.
Yeah,
That
but
doesn't
like,
mean it can't happen.
that's right. Exactly.
They
How do
don't
you
have
know
enough
that?
force, is what they're saying. They'd break their wing before they break your arm.
Where'd you get
Oh,
this
I
fact?
believe
Carter?
Everywhere.
Russia.
Okay.
Collusion. Also, hey, bologna is commonly made of pork, beef, turkey, and chicken. It is finely ground meat trimmings. It is a myth that hooves, lips, and ears have been used in the process of making bologna.
Yeah, who's
Thank
your
you.
source? Oscar Mayer.
Big wiener.
Big Wiener Corporation.
Big Wiener's telling you.
Big Wiener Corporation.
You got Big Wiener teaching you about your opinions, dude. You got to get off the internet. Listen, I'm almost positive they're using hooves, lips, and assholes for.
God.
Tell me there's a story of a guy getting
Hey, Carter.
arm broken. by
Hey,
a
Carter.
Yeah.
Yes, there are documented cases of swans injuring people, including breaking bones, though these incidents are rare. Swan breaks man's arm, UK, 2000. A 72-year-old man in Cambridge had his arm broken by a swan while feeding it bread. The swan struck him with a wing with enough force to fracture the bone.
Where do you see? I don't. That's not coming up for me. I literally don't see that.
That's because you're not young Jamie. You're not good at Googling.
Yeah, dude. Joey's getting his news from Big Medicine.
Wiener.
Yeah, so
okay?
Joey's been docked a point because he looked it up.
Can swans really break bones? Yes, though it's uncommon. Mute
So
swans.
does that mean Cal and I gain a point because
Now
we were
listen,
right?
Joey, you do know the rules though.
I don't see that anywhere. Everything is
You do
saying it's
get-
a myth.
Send the article to the group chat.
Yeah.
You know, Cal.
Is this
you
going to
really
be another
you
Titanic
suck.
Mallard article?
What did I do?
What? Did
You
I say
said-
Carter?
You said Cal. You know
You
what?
said Cal.
Oh, I'm
suck.
sorry, Carter.
What?
You know you suck because that means we gain a point. He was lying.
I'm having an intervention for social media. Gavin so far into social media doesn't know who he's talking to anymore.
I was
You
looking
just
at
looked
a
up
pickup.
ChatGPT. There's no links.
Why do the Brits say that swans will break people's arms? Answer: this likely is the same sort of theology used when they tell young boys not to eat too many green plantains or their testicles will fall off. It's just entirely not true. That's what this person's saying. This other person went into the science behind it, and it says you need 2,000 grams of newtons or something of force to be able to kill or to break a human bone. And swans can only generate 700 newtons of force.
Okay, so I was right.
I cannot find any articles that
I got
say,
one right here.
All of
Did
the
you send it to
articles,
us, Gavin?
Yeah, what do you want to do?
all
Just,
the
like,
articles
copy and
I
paste?
saw are people falling because of the swan or the goose, not like actually breaking their arm.
I'll just send it to you, Cal, and you read it. It has two separate moments where a swan has broken a man's arm or leg in, what do you call it, in London.
Well, British bones are bullshit.
Also, I don't
so-
really know if I buy it. Like, what's the 2,000 newtons? Because like I broke my finger the other day, and I definitely didn't use 2,000 pounds of force to do it.
British bones are bullshit, Carter.
Obviously.
This website is newsfromthepastblog.wordpress.com.
Yeah, so we're on a blog right now.
Hey, man, it's an actual article out of a newspaper.
But I don't know if it is.
That's-
It's just a fucking... It's a screenshot.
Yep.
It's like a picture of an article.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go with I think Carter's wrong.
In 1913, a Birkenhead
No,
swan
go above
called
that one.
Old
Go
Dick
go above that one.
terrorized local
This is the
park
Titanic
above
Mallard
that
of the swan.
Go above that one, you
Dick to
dick.
break an arm, but one local has a narrow escape.
Go
The
above
bird
that
apparently
one.
had a deadly feud with the park keeper.
Would you go above that one because that's the one that matters, you dick? You would go to the one about Old Dick.
This is the best. This article is so good. Swan attacks park strollers. Some harsh things are being said about Old Dick, a swan, which is one of the attractions at Birkenhead Park. 30 or 40 years of age, Old Dick has been displaying irritability to a very marked extent. Good-natured strollers have been approached fiercely, and only prompt flight has taken them out of danger. A powerful bird like Old Dick could easily break a man's arm at a blow. The hatching season has caused the bird to become irritable. A fond father, Dick seems determined to take no risks with regard to the youngsters. Anyway, who gives a shit?
Carter's wrong.
Here's what I want to say about this. Make sure this is in, Carter. Bringing it back to real life here. Actually, leave the old Dick story in too. That's great.
You didn't even read the good story in that article.
But the other story you sent me was so hard to read because it was such an old clipping of like.
It was from 2002. You dickhead.
Wait, why didn't you read it?
I did read it.
Here's the point I want to make with this.
He just didn't like the findings.
Joey, you do lose a point here.
I don't lose a point.
You do lose a point. It's because we made the rule previously that you can't look it up because you could probably find some random instance of Titanic mallards at any given point.
Does that mean you and I gain a point though? Because you're wrong?
That is correct. We gain a point. Joey loses a point.
Well, this game is bullshit.
That was the rules we made.
Nah, that's a bad rule. We should change it.
We made those
You're
rules.
so soft.
We made those rules last season.
You would be the guy that's like, the rules,
if
the
two
rules
or more,
hurt my feelings.
If two or more
Okay, me and
agree
Gavin
that
will
it's
vote.
not...
Gavin?
You had the same thought that I did you not?
I did, but the problem is I didn't know there was a rule about looking it up, and you looked it up, which you should follow the rules. You're raising kids. You're not going to raise them to follow the rules and play the game right?
I'm raising a couple of non-conformists. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, great. The world needs more of them.
What's up?
So we should take a vote on if you lose a point for looking it up. Which was the rules?
If you
Which
really
was
need
the
that
rule?
point, Cal, go ahead. Just take it.
Oh, I don't.
If you need the point, just take it.
Joey, I'm just asking if you want the
You
point.
haven't gotten any right. I understand.
I
Take the
have
point.
one right.
Technically,
We
now
actually
he
have the
has-
same
we
amount
actually have
right.
the same amount of points, and now you have 0 and we both have 2. So that didn't cook well for you because you guys were tied until
No,
you looked
if
it up.
that's how you want to do it, go ahead. That's fine.
Hold on.
Joe,
Hold
I
on.
guess-
No. Let's wash the question. Get us another one. Let's even this up on the last
I guess
one.
my question is, what is the rule? Because you agreed to it previously. So do we need to change the rules now?
I say we change the rule.
What will the rule now be?
If the majority of the room, so like there's 3 of us, right? Carter doesn't count because he's
in the closet.
He's the closet god. Yeah.
He's also the keeper of the questions.
He's also the keeper of crabbiness.
I legit thought you were
If
going to say
I'm-
something
if-
way more childish.
If
like
I'm
farts.
crabby, he will just like open up a part of him and give me some. You know? Like
Sure.
anyway. So
Cool.
I say
Cool.
I
you
say
guys are
that
quoting a really bad podcast.
Yeah.
That's Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
that's Brooklyn
Oh.
Nine-Nine. So anyway, I think that if you and I disagree with Carter, we can look it up. Or the majority of the room, right? If there's 3 of us doing say what, 2 out of the 3, we look it up.
So what you're
Prove
saying
them wrong.
is to moving forward, the rule would be that we will put it to a vote as to whether or not we will look it up. And it
Correct.
has to be majority in agreement that we will be looking it up.
Sure.
If there's 4 of us and it's a tie, you can't look it up.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, we'll delete that question.
Okay.
Completely.
Next
Sounds
one.
good. Next question.
Next question.
Okay.
Now mind you, we are all tied. We all have 1 point.
1 of 5,
Yikes.
correct, Carter?
Yeah, that's bad. Ducks can change the color of their bills depending on the season.
They can choose to do it, or their bills change colors during the different seasons.
You know, I didn't get a brain scan to see if they're choosing to do it or if it just does it.
Well, then you got to look at the wording and how
yeah, you got to
wrote
say that differently. Then say it again. Word it the same way you worded it.
Ducks can change the color of their bills.
So that would initiate
Depending on
that
the
they're
season.
choosing to do it. I don't like how this is
See,
worded.
because if you had
I
said
don't like how this is worded.
right, if you had said ducks' bills change color,
Yeah,
throughout
that's
the seasons,
different.
That's different. Now you're saying ducks can change their bills,
So you're thinking that they do control it,
so
Carter.
they choose to do it, Carter.
Well, that's where. Never
I'm
mind.
keeping the wording as is.
God,
This is what makes these questions so hard.
I know.
it's because he's illiterate. He's worse than
That's
me.
true.
Yeah.
He is
The wording is
Highly
as
illiterate.
is.
Hey, what was that guy we had last week that introduced the 10-minute Tuesday? Assertive Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's back.
Look out! Assertive Carter's here, everybody.
He's trying to be a dad, even though he's like 22 and doesn't
All
know
right,
what
Carter.
9/11 is.
All right,
I'm gonna go with false.
False.
true.
It is true. And the reason it's worded like that is because hormones and how they feed can change.
But that's not a choice.
Depending on what they
Choice.
eat, it is a choice.
Oh, I'm
they
done.
choose what they eat.
But they don't eat more because they want their bill to change.
They don't say-
that's dumb. That's horribly worded, Carter.
No,
Redo
it's
it.
not.
Redo it.
Scratch that one.
Guys,
No. You know
Hey,
what? No. Cal's got 2. I'm good. Let's move on. I'm good.
Nope,
with
we're
being done.
deleting that one.
What?
Hey, you know
No,
what?
no, dude.
There's predators
fuck
around.
This. We're not just
Hey.
going to keep throwing out questions
No,
you guys get
here's-
wrong.
here's my
thing.
You were 0 for 4. Shut up.
I'm 2 for 6 right now, and you're 1 for 5. 1 for 6.
Here's my thing. Oh, there's a predator around. I have an orange bill. I should change it to a green
But
bill.
that's not what he said.
But that's how it's worded.
That's how you
I
understood it.
agreed that the wording was wrong.
Oh, but because
we
you got it right, you're
talked
not
about
bitching?
it. We talked about it in an extent to the point where we could figure out that it really was just about whether or not the bills change color. Are we keeping it or no? You guys decide.
Okay.
Joey, you pick.
No.
I knew that was
Okay,
coming.
we're doing one more then.
We're doing one more.
Okay, we're doing one more then. Here we go.
Come on, assertive
Try
Carter.
to make sure you word it in a way that isn't like the
Yeah.
most
Fucking
confusing
shit.
wording.
Well,
I feel like I'm like
it was good
You
wording.
gra-
someone
graduated
with
college?
broken English.
It
wrote
was
these
good wording.
fucking questions.
The guy that almost bought
I'm
Carter
gonna-
or Cal's
I'm gonna
truck
do
today
next
is better
week.
English than you.
I'm going to do next week. Say what?
Me versus Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we've done that before, Cal or Joey got destroyed, so we can do that if you want. I think it's more of a skill issue than a word issue, but
Carter, it's a miracle you graduated.
Joey, do it next week, but make sure the wording is so fucked.
Of course.
yeah, I'll understand
Ducks
it then.
can have their feet fall off if they get enough frostbite on purpose.
False. Anyway.
Okay. Last one. Ducklings must feed within 24 hours of hatching or they will die.
Every time.
Ducklings must feed within 24 hours of hatching or they will die.
So yeah, every
Can you
time.
clarify feed?
So yeah, every time.
Can you clarify?
You guys are
what that
awful.
means?
No.
So
True.
every time a duckling doesn't feed within 24
dies.
hours, they die.
24 hours of hatching.
I'm going to go with true.
False.
I'm gonna say false.
It is false. They absorb yolk reserves and can go up to 48 hours without food.
Damn
Okay,
it.
pause.
Damn it.
Now,
That was still poorly worded.
No,
does
it
the
wasn't.
room want to look that up?
Do you want to look it up?
I got it right, so I'm fine with us not looking it up. But I'd like to allow you the opportunity to present your case.
Where'd you
if
get
you'd
it from,
like
Carter?
to look it up.
Just so you know, they typically don't even eat for the first 24 to 36 hours.
But where did you find this? Chat GPT?
I looked it up and it says
That's
they
close.
don't
Where did you look it up?
online.
Where did you look it up?
online. They don't immediately require
Where online? What's the source?
online. I made it up, so there's not a source for a made up thing.
Did you get it from
Well,
ChatGPT?
actually, that's not
I'm going to
true.
need to see the article.
There
Carter.
actually is a source for
Send
a
me the
made-up
article.
thing, which would be your brain, Carter. So the source is pretty unreliable, you guys. It's not good. The source is Carter's brain, guys, so that's a pretty bad place for reliability.
That's
Are
why
you-
it's false and not true.
Are you good with calling it, or what? You want to
I'm
look it
good
up?
with calling it.
Okay,
That's
all right.
fine.
So how did we end up there, Carter? Because we did like 25 practice questions that Joey didn't like.
Yeah.
We did two. You and I are 2 for 6.
fuck
Joey's
you.
1 for 6.
God.
Dude, if we played by the rules we started with, Joe, I'd have been 4 for 6.
Oh, my God.
Because I'd have got a point back from you for looking that one up, and then I got the last 3 right in a row. But we threw 2 of them out.
It's because they were piss poorly worded, and you know they were.
I agree.
You agree this last one was even poorly worded.
I didn't disagree with that. Didn't disagree.
Carter B, do your job better.
Listen, here's what's happening for me right now. Hold on, really quick. Are you looking it up? Because we did not vote.
I know we didn't vote. It doesn't count.
You would
It's
lose
fine.
another point if you're looking this one up.
We're good, bro.
Joey went 1 for 6, Cal 2 for 6, Gavin 1 for 6.
I went 2 for 6. I got the last one right, you twat.
Did you?
He did agree with me, Gavin. He said false. Or Carter.
Okay.
So, okay, now that I know you looked it up, Joey.
Yeah, what's it say?
There's
Joey went 0 for 6.
no. I mean, there's no need to talk about it on the podcast. You know,
Oh, no, there's a need.
Yeah, what's it say?
ducklings must eat within the first 24 to 48 hours of hatching.
Where's your source?
They absorb nutrients from the yolk sac initially, but by 24 hours, they start needing external food for survival and development.
So start needing doesn't mean
Lack-
they die at 24 hours.
Lack of food beyond 24 hours can cause weakness, stunted growth, hypothermia, and death.
So does that say at the 24-hour mark they die, which is what I said in the
They
question?
can.
Okay, they can die in 20 minutes too.
So basically, though, it's more like a heavy suggestion. It's not like you have to.
Carter, I just feel like you throw questions and don't actually Google them. Because isn't this like the
literally
third or fourth time you've been wrong?
I Google it right here. The statement that ducklings must feed within 24 hours of hatching or they will die is not accurate.
All right, so with all of that back and forth done, Joey went 1 for 6 today. Gavin went 2 for 6. I went 2 for 6. Some of the best scores. We are literally some of the smartest people in this room right now. Carter, what does that bring our totals to? I believe
worst Trump I've ever heard
that's
in
really
my
good.
life.
I didn't try that hard. 14 out of 26 for me.
Yep, 12 for Joey, 9 for 13 for Gavin.
Let's go.
Gracious.
I mean, that's a really good score.
Yeah,
Now
your
listen,
boy's
Gavin,
batting
9
good.
for 13. You're killing it. Today was a rough showing for you.
Don't worry, guys.
We had
next
the
week,
same score.
Next
Does that mean it's
week,
a rough showing for you?
Oh, a terrible showing.
Okay,
2
just
of
making
6?
sure that you.
It's really
you
bad.
he has
openly-
like 6 more or 7 more questions than you have. So you have a really good average total.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
His not so much.
Right.
I'm gonna do 7 say what questions next week
Yes.
and
I'll
roast.
come for next week for that.
Carter,
And
give me some
roast
outro
Carter.
music. So when you do, make sure the questions are worded like dog shit.
I'm kind of leaning towards wording them properly.
Really?
You know, to show our boy how to do it. you know?
Yep. Show
Yep,
him how to
yep,
do
yep,
it.
yep,
Show
yep,
him
yep,
how to
yep,
do
yep.
it. Show him how to use grammatical competence.
Yeah. He's shaking his head over there in the
Spell-
crabby
No,
closet.
I just
Spell
found something.
grammatical
I'll tell you after.
competence, Carter.
What was that, Carter?
I found something that I'll tell you after.
Does it
Well-
prove my point or?
No, I just put the question into ChatGPT, and the first thing it says is that statement is false. Ducklings must feed within 24 hours. So,
Well,
Anyway.
here's what we'll do. We'll argue about it all week. And then Joey will bring some questions for us next week. And then it'll be me versus Carter. And maybe Gavin will come and just join in for fun. All right. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. I know a lot of you listen on Spotify. Go to the Midwest Flyways merch store, MidwestFlyways.com. We will have new merch coming out starting in August. We'll have a cool new design for you guys every month, so go check that out. Get some of the OG stuff now while you can. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Hey, Gavin, one more thing, by the way.